Call to order the December 5th meeting of the Leominster School Committee. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, and liberty for all. We're going to read the Leominster School Committee statement. The committee represents the needs of all Leominster Public School students in place of their interests above all others. We will exercise leadership, adhere to our protocols, and base our decisions on reasonable assessment of all available information. We will advocate for each of our schools and support high-quality public education in Leominster. That, open it up for public comment. Is there anybody, either in person or online, who would like to speak? Please unmute yourself. By your name and address for the record.
Or if some kid wants to come up and tell us how cool their parents are. Anyone, one last time? One last time? Bob will close this portion of the meeting. So tonight what we'll do is we'll go through a few agenda items and then we'll break so we can do the fun stuff, which is to acknowledge our teachers for their hard work and official path. No great honor, yeah. The baseball, 3.5 pounds. All right, so let's continue on. Communication superintendent.
There are no communications this evening.
Thank you to you, the principal and Butch and staff and whoever's responsible for getting all the lights outside replaced. It was really dark at the election day and we're all fixed. Thank you. Student report, we have a student report. We do switch sides on this.
So good evening, everyone. It's finally December, which means that Christmas is just around the corner, as well as the new year, 2023. Oh, I said that wrong. But CTI is thriving and becoming better every day. Before the week of Thanksgiving break, our Skills USA team attended the Fall Leadership Conference to obtain information on how to become a leader. This event was run by the State Skills USA program and was erected for the students who attended. Not only that, but 30 CTI students received the Abigail Adams Scholarship. The Abigail Adams Scholarship is presented to a selection of students who have scored well on their MCAS scores. Our auto collision repair shop has been doing a great job making repairs including Van 9 and Van 15. Both vans look brand new. In the graphic communication shop, they replaced the large format printer with a new one. This printer was broken down beyond repair. It was used to print posters, create t-shirts, and other various things. In carpentry, the students were able to install trusses in the large addition of the first CTI house that CTI built. The students did a well-rounded job because the trusses withstand the heavy winds on November 30th. None of the trusses fell. In our electronics shop, the students have been utilizing their new 3D printer, which has decreased the cost of parts that they need for their projects, which is awesome. Within our health assisting shop, Mount Wachusett Community College has accredited our program. Any students who completed the health assisting program with the GPA of 2.0 and a core GPA of 3.0 would be accredited at Mount Wachusett Community College for the course of medical terminology. If the students passes the CNA test, they will be eligible for 5 additional credits in nurse assisting therapy. Our plumbing shop has been working with the facilities director for Leominster Public Schools, making plumbing repairs in the school buildings. The great resource of our plumbing students have resulted in a huge cost saving to the Leominster Public School District. Big thanks to our plumbing shop. Our machine shop has been working with the North Central Workforce Investment Board to run a CNC machine course. This course is geared towards postgraduate students learning the state-of-the-art CNC learning skills to obtain a job. In our electrical shop, they have spent a great amount of time in culinary connecting newly donated equipment in the Appleseed's kitchen, increasing the cooking abilities of the culinary students. Last but not least, our culinary arts has been extremely busy hosting school-wide and community-wide events. Before Thanksgiving, culinary hosted the senior breakfast and the breakfast of conveyance. On November 30th, our culinary students hosted the city council dinner. All these excellent events have brought meaningful experiences to our students.
Sorry, I just want to first apologize for being a little tardy. I thought we were going to Appleseed's. So I'm excited when I get there and there's
Matt, how long out? I forgot to remind you today.
No, it's not. It's Mr. Roberts said, it's my fault. But sorry, I'll be just. It's
If you think you're the first person to ever show up in month.
I was like, I was really excited to see
Tried a
that.
couple times a week.
Very good to hear.
That was a great food. Again, that's gone past up this point.
Don't worry, we're not waiting for you or anything.
Let's do the superintendent report.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So as soon as we're done this, we'll do the presentation. Just over here.
Yeah, you guys,
Yeah, and then we'll give you an update.
thank you.
Unless you've got it right there. I don't mind.
Oh, actually, okay, yeah, I got it. Right. Sorry.
I heard people speaking.
So we had our Thanksgiving pep rally with the chorus, band, cheer team, the dance team, and special performances by football moms and mock cheer team. Emma Collier did a great job as the MC. Leominster won the Thanksgiving game, finishing season 8-3. Finishing this season 8-3. The cheer team finished sixth in the state championship. Winter sports are starting, and first games are on Friday and December 9th. Mr. Alfayette brought in a guest speaker from the Secret Service who talked to students about his experiences. And Mr. Armando spoke to the students about the importance of being in school, taking advantage of opportunities, and not going for the 0% solution. And funnily enough, like, we didn't actually have it for the senior class, but my class went, and the 0% solution was like a really interesting thing about how basically it doesn't gain students anything to be disrespectful to the faculty, even if that's their reflex, they think that that's going to make them feel better. It doesn't necessarily gain you anything because obviously they're just going to be upset with you. And then in music, After Hours first meeting was Friday. I actually was heading that club, and it's really exciting. It's kind of like an after school rock, well, not rock band for anything besides jazz and concert. And the winter concert is December 14th at 6. Tickets are $5, and the Shrek musical was very well done with amazing special effects. Great job by the drama club and the staff. There's a toy drive competition between the classes with the Leominster Police Department. The debate and mock trial team just received the information for the case they will be working on, which is another club I'm a part of, which we finally got the booklet for the case and we'll be competing in the next debate competition. So that's gonna be really fun. We're gonna be working, prior. And the draft, Stump drafted the student bill of rights and it's ready for review. And if you guys aren't aware, the student bill of rights is a really like cool document that a Stump Club, which is kind of like a political student advocacy group. Well, you guys don't know it, that's how it's worded. Yeah, so we're working on like a bill of rights. So the students have like these inalienable rights and the teachers have, the opposite rights, I guess. I mean, no, like they have things that we are required to do and that they do in response to that.
Yeah, we're all sitting here saying, wait a minute. Look the other side. All right, good job, both. And these are our two student representatives with us every meeting, and we appreciate it. It gives us a different perspective. They are very focused, very focused. Thank you. All right, superintendent, over to you.
This evening, the superintendent report is handing over to the assistant superintendent, Stephen Maloney, to honor our teachers this evening for receiving their apples. This is something that our teachers worked 3 years to get to. They have to do 3 years and 1 day. It's funny how the 1 day sometimes is a hiccup, but we figure it out. So tonight, I want to turn this time over to Steve so that we have time to honor those that are here before us today.
Okay, thank you. We're excited tonight. This is one of the few events that we come together and celebrate our teachers that have started with us and have lasted 3 years, have worked hard with their mentors and their staff at the schools that they're at, both their colleagues and the admin. And so I'd like to thank a few people before we start though. I'd like to thank the Human Resources Admin Assistant, Wanda Toledo, and the former Admin Assistant, Ann Pickering, those who work collaboratively closed to organize and make sure that all the people that were supposed to be recognized were recognized tonight. I'd also like to introduce Barry Hudson. Barry is the LEA president, and he's with us tonight to help honor those people. I'm sure I if I wasn't holding the mic, I would have clapped loudly with you. Okay, sorry, try not to be funny because like Ms. Foster says, when I try to make jokes, they don't deliver well, so
Especially start.
no, I already claimed no more truck jokes. Star Wars is wide open now. Okay, so finally, I'd like to congratulate the teachers themselves because you've worked so hard. You know, it takes a lot to be hired for a particular job. There are many applicants, and then you go through a mentoring program, and then the day-to-day operations of a teacher. I couldn't even begin to describe it. So for those of you, friends and family, or educators yourself, you know that. But it really is a full-time job plus hours, nights, weekends. It's a lot. And so I'd like to thank you personally for all of your hard work. Okay, I do have a book here, so I would just like to leave you from my part with a quote from Henry Brooks Adams. A teacher affects eternity. He or she can never tell where their influence stops. And I really think that hits home, at least for me. Okay, so.
Steve, just 1 second. We're going to push that table forward.
We're gonna come stand over here.
Okay. You'd rather do it that way?
Yeah, so I thought we could, at each of the schools, we're gonna start with the high school. So if we could have the high school admin, people that are here for that. And then we could, we're gonna stand up, right? Will join us over here, and then as I call your name, if you can come up, go through the receiving line of all of the school committee and school admin. Some of our attendees were unable to attend, some of our people are unable to attend, so I would still read their name and would still ask for a round of applause for them because they also did work hard. So first up, we have Catherine Brett. Next, we have Sherry Fairbanks. Juan Nunez. Also from the high school, that I believe are here to come in, we have Philip Tucker. William David Hallmark. Dylan Dimash. Rosado. During the break, we could have the principals of formats from the school come up to get the ones that were not here. Okay, next we have Fallbrook School, please. And Mrs. Van Dyke. We have Shante Francis. Also from Fallbrook, but I'm able to attend, Javier Sanchez. Next, we have Francis Drake. Francis Drake, we have Heidi Newman. And Matthew Rondo. From LCE, they're not able to attend, they're at a conference. So we have Jared Darcy. Next up, we have Northwest School. Leah Moore. Next, we have the Early Childhood Center. Rebecca Tucker. And unable to attend, Angelica Dahlstrom. Next up, we have Skyview.
Where's the call?
I was so surprised, I didn't expect that.
We have James Morgan.
Possible like that.
And the Paul Steiner. Paul Steiner. And next we have Samoset School. Samoset School. And we have Brett Pettis. Also from Sunset Sprinkle, I mean, with that just got busy. Okay, and that rounds up our 2022 professional status teachers for Leominster Public Schools.
Some refreshments, and we thank those that prepared them, but we're gonna take a short break and then we can get some refreshments. And we'll go back to our regular.
Take it, I'm just hitting that thing when I want to go. All right, good man, Kyle. Thank you, sir. Thanks, Steve. And thank you all. Pleased to be here and pleased to welcome the whole district over to Skyview, as we get to do from time to time, but always a good thing to have everybody in. And really thank you for allowing me the time during school committee to just kind of talk about a little bit, probably brag a little bit about Skyview and what we've got going on here. So I've been taking this presentation, and I know you guys, as the school committee, have been seeing presentations from all the other schools as we've been going along. So I have endeavored to model this presentation to the similar presentations from the other schools, trying to keep with the same categories. So we're getting a lot of the same information across the board, give you all a better picture of the entire district. And we start with our opening. This is a nice quick shot of one of our now famous graduation parades. I think this was our first graduation parade that kind of developed out of the COVID pandemic, but I think it's very emblematic of the culture we're trying to build here in Skyview, and that very welcoming. We got serious business to attend to, but we can still have a little fun along the way. So speaking of fun, summer fun, I don't know if our PTO president, Amanda Delaney, would call it fun, but one of the big summer projects, our wonderful PTO, took on, as you can see that very first picture, that was our interior courtyard and had been untouched for many a year. And she decided with the PTO that they were going to take care of that and rip it all up, lay down some stone and some gravel, and turn it into a social and break space right off the teacher's room in our school. And the great thing is we were able to celebrate our special education teacher, Jen St. Cyr's, I guess it was her wedding shower is what we were calling it. It wasn't a bachelorette party, it was a wedding shower. I think they did that elsewhere. So luckily we had the wedding shower at school. And as you can see, turned into a great space, really well using the space. The teachers love it. And our PTO has been spectacular. Really want to take a moment to thank them. Amanda Delaney, Tara DeBona, Nikki Turpin, Jen Dietz, Michelle Cotton, and Joe Bradito. Have really taken our PTO and kicked it up a whole notch this year. We've had some great things already. We got some great things on the horizon with PTO as well. So special thanks to them. Other summer projects, there were none because we don't need them. We've got the greatest custodial crew in the district. They keep the school, and I hope you're all seeing it in your short visit tonight. They keep the school looking brand new, even though we're coming up on our 20th anniversary, as you well know, after dedicating the building back in 2003.
I keep saying, the new school, the new library.
The new school is 20 years old, or at least it will be coming up. So our custodial crew is fantastic. Place looks great, looks brand new. It always does. So thank you to Dave Sine, senior custodian, Donna Cardoni, Pete Zom, Dominic Canavino, and Karen Gonzalez. They are a fantastic crew. It's only because of them that we have the space tonight and that it looks this good and fits this many people. So they are fantastic. I know we've talked a lot about security. That is our #1 priority, is the safety of our students and our staff here in the building. We take it very seriously as our #1 priority, and we try every year to upgrade different parts of our security measures. We currently have 32 total cameras, 5 outdoor, 27 indoor. Those are running on a continuous DVR system. They even go through the night and are equipped with night vision in case there's anything going on that we need to try to figure out. So those are fantastic. This year, our goal is to get an additional 10 indoor cameras installed. We have quotes coming in next week, and our hope is that those will be in our stairwells. And while 10 won't cover all the stairwells in the building, it is a very big building. We're hoping that in the next year, we can double that number and have all our stairwells covered as well, just in terms of the safety of the students and keeping an eye when trouble erupts. We, of course, as well as a lot of the schools, have our window tinting on all the first floor windows across the building. We also have that in the windows of the doors to each classroom. So that is another layer of security, very tough to see inside when you're outside. And that's something that I think all the buildings have been upgrading to over the last few years, and I think it's a fantastic system. Other fantastic system, all of our doorways into rooms, offices, or classrooms are equipped with the night lock system, and that night lock system is almost impervious and a very simple, quick additional intervention that we can add to the security of the building as a whole. Getting to a little bit of data, these following slides follow our progression with MCAS results over the last 5 years on these slides. Of course, our 2022 numbers were out from the spring. And I think if you look back on the numbers, these are really set up for all 3 grades together. So it's the school as a whole. And you'll see on these slides as we go through that through the pandemic and going into 2021, we were still pushing our way through the pandemic. There was a noticeable dip. I think it's much more noticeable in our science and mathematics results than in our ELA results, but a significant dip in some cases during the 2021 school year, which I think we all were a little surprised about how long lasting the COVID pandemic became. The nice thing is we're happy to report in 2022, we're back on the right side of the market. We're trending upwards. We are trending back with a nice rebound. Again, that rebound also much more significant in math and science than in ELA, but it gives me hope, and I think we've got the right things in place to keep that trend going upward. My goal as a school is to look at our numbers from 2019 when we had achievement results, as you can see on the chart here. Our current 2022 results are on the first column. Our goals for Skyview coming up this spring, 2023, represent goals that should match or are slightly above our 2019 levels, which is what we're really looking to get back for. And then, of course, increasing from there. This next slide talks about our access growth. Our student growth has been fairly steady over the last 4 years, which is great, no decline. However, as you can see, approximately 50% on average of our English learner students are progressing one level of the EL level grades each year, which is fantastic. We would really love all of them to be increasing one grade level or one EL level each year. And as you can see, back in 2018, before all of the COVID fun happened, we were trending at a very high 66% of those students moving up one EL level per year. That is our goal, as you can see from the dip in 2021. We have rebounded again, back up to 53% where we were into 2020. And keep in mind, the access tests do happen in late January, going into early February. So 2020, we were able to complete our access testing. That's why you see a result there, whereas with MCAS, you do not have a result as those happen in the spring. And we all know where we were in 2020 of the spring. So our hope is and our goal is to get back to that 2018 level going forward. Access testing again coming up end of January, going into early February. And we'll be waiting in the results. The key here is we've got the things in place that we think we need to hit those goals. So our areas of academic focus here at Skyview, you'll find them very similar to our district focus and the focus of the schools around the district. So nothing new here, but we are certainly focused on high quality instructional materials. And we have done a lot of work over the last 2 years with our teachers included to investigate, to trial, to research the highest quality instructional materials that work for our curriculum and our state standards. We've done a great job with that. We currently have a brand new science curriculum that is beginning this year. So new for the 2022-2023 school year, and that is called Open Sci-Ed, and that really brings an experiential phenomenon-based curriculum into the district and into our science studies here at the middle school level. We have a brand new curriculum for our English Language Arts department, and that also includes our English learners. Our English learner teachers are also using the Study Sync ELA curriculum in their studies. And we're very happy with the start of that. And then we're in the second year of our Envisions Mathematics curriculum. And again, these curricula are across both middle schools. We are working together with Samoset, and our teachers work often with the Samoset teachers, at least monthly, if not more than that, to remain, if not lockstep, certainly within a week or two in our curriculum advancement. So we're very happy with that. I think we've got a lot of people to thank, including the teachers, for helping us get these curriculum products in. Along with those curriculum products, however, is also the idea of maintaining the rigor, maintaining the high expectations that come with these curriculum products, that come with the Massachusetts state standards. That's been a big push in our district for the last 2, if not 3 or more years. But we're really focused on it in these last 2 years as we're coming out of the pandemic, as we know there are some gaps in the learning process, as we know some students are still recovering from some of their experiences. We know, and we're working with the state, and we're working with many different organizations across the state to help us with professional development that's leading towards high expectations in all classrooms. And that means, you know what, kiddo, I know you might be reading at a 5th grade level, but we are going to present to you 7th grade level work, because we know with the proper supports, we can get you to come back up to us here in the 7th grade level. I think there's a lot of people to thank for that, as I said, across the district. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our assistant principal in charge of curriculum and instruction, Mark Trainer, who is somewhere back there. There it is. Not the tall one. That's Mark Trainer. But also, I want to thank the district for getting the position of curriculum coordinator back into our system. And I really want to thank our curriculum coordinators, Michelle Oliveri, Jillian Santucci, Susan Turallo, because they have been instrumental in not only bringing this attitude and these curriculum products in, but maintaining it by coming to the buildings every week and working with our teachers to help them figure out this is what high instruction looks like at every level. So a great team assembled here in the district for curriculum. Pardon the voice giving out on me as we speak. We know, of course, social emotional health is a vital part of any student's instruction. It's a vital part of a safe learning environment. I think we've all seen the quote, and we've adopted the quote that no learning happens without significant relationships. We spend the first month here at Skyview every year truly focused on our teachers making connections with the students first and foremost. It's a focus for us that first month. It's truly a focus throughout the year. We've got a great group of people led by our assistant principal in charge of climate and culture, Bill Denzel, the tall one in the back there as well. Bill Denzel working with our student support group every single day to connect with kids, to support students. And I think all the people on that team, our guidance counselors, Nicole Swagger, who just got her apple tonight, which is awesome, Don Cronin, Kim Derry, our school psychologist, Erica Peters, our dean of students, Devin Gates, Bill and Mark, of course, work with the student support group, our nurses, even Lisa Mueller, John Gogan, and truthfully, our parent liaison, Wilda Burgos, and even our secretaries, Jacinti Rosado and Jane Colella, work literally every day. Big interactions, small interactions to make kids feel comfortable, to make kids feel welcome, to make feel kids important. So vital people in the building doing vital work every day. And that attitude, that culture really has permeated to our teaching staff and everybody else in the building. So it is, and I hope when you do come by to visit, if you come by to visit, you will see that in every interaction you have with our students and our staff. Last piece of our 4-prong attack here, chronic absenteeism, of course. Pandemic didn't do us any favors. We're coming into flu season, of course. RSV is out there as an added three-prong attack against our attendance numbers. And I will say, chronic absenteeism is up. It is way up. And that has not relaxed since the pandemic. We've still had COVID concerns going into the fall and beginning this year. I think it's something that we are all aware of, but it's something to deal with on a daily basis in every school. So while we do have high numbers of chronic absenteeism, and the state signifies that by 10% or more of your school year being absent. So in the course of a full school year, that's 18 days of absence. Now, right now, we're about our 61st day or so of school. So any kid with 6 days absent is already technically chronically absent. We've got an awful lot of those kiddos. Good news is our student support group, again, works diligently to make sure that we know why those students are absent. We work with the families every day to try to intervene, to try to help, to try to support, to try to help those students getting to school, because it's not just illness that does it. Excuse me, we know it's social emotional. We know there are family emergencies. A lot of our families need to travel out of the country during family emergencies, and you can't ever time those the right way. So we do have a lot of factors that our team works with families every day to help intervene. Thank you, Dean. And I just want to thank that team again. We are looking, my hope is that as we get towards the end of the year, overall, we will be shooting for a 95% attendance rate as a school. We tend to average over this first few months, more like 90, 91% attendance rate. So the goal is to try to push that as close as we can to 95. And again, it's about communication. It's about working with the families. It's about working with the students and making them feel like this is a good place to be. And that's something my team does every day. One of the things that we're always looking for is new ideas. One of our English learner teachers, Miss Shauna Campbell, came to us a couple weeks ago, just launched a new program to help bridge the gap with our English learner students, help celebrate the advancements of our English learner students, help our students find rewards in getting their work done, in advancing their studies. So she just came up with this, just launched it last week. So these are 3 of our English learner students visiting Johnny Appleseed and reading to their EL students, 1st and 2nd grade. We're looking for this program to grow, of course, but it was a great start. And as you can see from the faces on that screen, I think everybody's enjoying it. I think it really connects our students with their students and gives their students a chance to say, oh, this is what's awaiting me as I learn English, as I learn to get along in this school, and as I progress into the middle school levels. This is something I can look forward to too. So great idea from Shauna. We really want to appreciate her and make sure that she knows that this is a program we want to support and we want to get behind and hopefully grow and hopefully start visiting some of the other elementary schools as well. We do that every day. We are empowering the teachers to tell us when they have ideas, to help us find new ways to support them as they support the students. So it's really, I hate to say it's a daily job, but it's a daily job, but it's something that our staff approaches with passion. And it's great ideas like this that come from the people who are doing the work. So it's important to listen to them every day. And with that, we'll move on to a few of the bragging points. Some of the happenings that we've had going on here at Skyview over the fall. Really proud to put this slide up here. Grace Namajuzzi is our Project 351 ambassador. She'll be representing Skyview as well as Leominster at Project 351, which for those who don't know is a community empowerment group that every year at this time gathers grade 8 student representatives from all 351 districts in the Massachusetts Commonwealth. And they gather them together for a year of service with many different events, many different programs. And this all kicks off with a big kickoff event where all the students are transported free of cost to Boston by Project 351. And they get together and have a huge kickoff event and start them on the way to a year of service and a lot of good community programs that we should be seeing coming from Grace and our representative over at Samoset, because we got 2 this year, which was awesome. We'll be looking forward to hearing some updates from Grace and Project 351 as we go forward. I also want to thank our Student Leadership Council. It is a great group of kids led by a couple of great teachers, Miss Cindy Gould and Miss Betty Verhulst. They have been bringing the spirit back into the school. Again, if not on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. Spirit Week we have every year in November as part of our Ginny's Food Pantry Drive to raise both money and food items for Ginny's throughout the month of November. This is just some of our clips from Spirit Week, which went very well. I think the kids get a kick out of it. And again, the Student Leadership Council, our students, they are the ones that come up with the ideas for each day. They're the ones who come up with a lot of the programs that we run, and they're the ones who really do the bulk of the work, collecting the food, collecting the money, and certainly jumping in and having fun too. Turkey Trot is part of that effort, along with our teachers in physical education, Dan Reiser and Sarah Boucher, and all our specials teachers. Great result. This is the first time since COVID that the Turkey Trot has returned in full force. So we had a full race. We were, not worried about keeping kids near each other and breathing on each other, especially breathing heavy. So some very fierce competition on the race portion, as you can see. And then, of course, all the students enjoy the walk to the bottom of the hill and back. And boy, it was cold, but it was a beautiful sunny day. So kids out there in shorts and T-shirts, hanging out there the whole time. You wouldn't believe it. I mentioned our science curriculum, Open Sci Ed. It is all about kids thinking and kids doing the thinking and kids doing the work. So what you'll see as you go around to the science rooms in both middle schools is a lot of student questions on the board, is a lot of student question boards, a lot of student evidence, a lot of student work up on the boards and guiding the classroom. And you'll see in a lot of the classrooms signs that say what we think, because that's really what it's about. Our teachers are there to guide the students, but not give them the answers. The students discover those answers for themselves. These are a group of seventh graders in various classrooms working on contact forces and learning about that through experiential design. So it has been great. It has been a huge challenge. It has been a whole new way of looking at science instruction. I thank the parents for being patient with that too, because it's tough when your kiddo's coming home and saying, my teacher won't tell me what the answer is. And that's all the kiddo wants. So we got to take your time. Over the few weeks of each unit, the kids learn and experience the answers so they can then come back and tell us what they're thinking. So that's been fantastic so far. Once again, props to our PTO, our first annual food truck fest here at Skyview, which what promised to be a 65-degree day and quickly turned into probably 42 degrees with a wind. But we had the community come out, a lot of staff, a lot of students. Eileen, you were there. That was great to see you with DCF working on the Foster program and setting up your table. So great to have you here. Thank you for coming. And as you can see, just a great time had by all. Wonderful event. We're looking to expand and maybe make it a biannual event. Maybe have something in the spring when it's a little warmer. We'll certainly go a little earlier next year. Absolutely, especially on the hill. We all know we're way up here. And then finally on the happenings, just recently, band director Xavier Cosme and choral director Kelsey Olden put together the first annual Skyview karaoke night down in our cafeteria and wound up being a fantastic event. They raised about $350 for the band and the choral programs. Kids, as you can see, just absolutely had a blast. I was unfortunately just developing this current cough that I got going now, so I wasn't able to belt anything out, but I'm looking forward to doing it next time. Dean will get you out there too, I hope. Come on. Finally, future improvements. Some of the projects we hope to get done in the coming years. We do have a new gym floor on the schedule. That did have to get delayed because of some issues with equipment during the summer, but we were on schedule to have a new gym floor handled in the summer. So we're looking forward to that coming up in 2023. We're also looking at the main office. We are hitting our 20th anniversary. Probably time for some new carpet in the main office. We have begun installing new sinks in the bathrooms, thanks to Butch Nadow for always getting what we need and keeping those sinks coming in. We do look at new floors for all the student bathrooms as those tiles are starting to come up. Again, 20 years of use. Looking good, but starting to come up, and we know they need replacement. And then, of course, 20 years in the cafeteria, you can imagine what some of the blinds look like. it's probably time to upgrade the blinds down there, get them fresh, get them looking good. And of course, we always hope our after pictures will look a little more happy than our poor hot dog up there, but just one of our great pictures from Halloween this year. And that is it. I really thank you guys for the time. I will happily take any questions from this wonderful school committee, but really thank you all for the support that you give us and all the schools all the year long. Thankless positions in a lot of cases, but I want to be one of the ones to keep saying thank you to you guys.
There seems to be this state and national effort for, attendance. And I think that in some places it creates a little bit of a vacuum. And everybody's like, gotta get these kids back and less about why is it this child's not back to school system. Right?
Exactly.
So if you went down the line, you had social emotional learning, and then you had, sort of absenteeism. When in fact, they may be connected where
Absolutely.
every situation is going to be different. Me personally, I would rather you back here in 3 months saying, listen, maybe every kid isn't back, but we have a really good understanding as to what's going on in that family, what's going on in the student, and this is how we're addressing it. And I bet you every situation, I'll bet you there's a small percentage of students that are like, yeah, I've lost parents to go to school, but I'll bet you there's a whole story that every single one. But I just, every time I read something, it says, oh, vacuum about getting kids back to school, less about what's going on and more about, we've got to fulfill that number. We've got to get down to zero. We've got to get, in reality, with the confusing world that we live in, that's my feeling is, I'd much rather get back to you saying, yeah, maybe I don't have all the students back. However, our team's done a really good job at touch or helping them, whatever it might be.
Absolutely, Dean, 100%. And I think that's why, our goal, as I said, for overall attendance, I'd love to hit 95%. Do we hit that sometimes on days? Absolutely. And it's a spectacular day. Do I expect to hit that for the year this year? That's my goal. We're always going to push for it. We're always going to look for it. We know there's always going to be some absenteeism. That's just plain and simple. But the key is you hit on it. And that's what our student support group does every day. We know, if you ask me, why is this kid out 17 days already this year? My team already knows why that kid's out. We're working with them and we're working to stop that from continuing.
That's the message that personally I want to hear is, you know what, they will have here, but we're back and forth, we understand, we're trying to get them to whatever the situation is. That's more about solving it, just needing some sort of a number. And it's, oh, yeah, we gotta get over, drag them, it's the way they look, give them free, whatever it takes to get it.
Well, the age-old thing of the truancy office going out there and just rounding them up in a paddy wagon and getting them to school.
Police officer with
Yeah.
a school employee that was on the 200% and literally dragged back into the building. But it didn't go, trust me.
Well, and I think that's why we want to put that social emotional learning first. We want to give them a reason to want to be in school. If they don't want to be here, if they don't think anybody cares about them here, they're not going to come here no matter what we do. So the key is let's give them a place where they know they can feel safe. They know they feel valued. Give them a reason to be in school. And then we can work on dragging them in here and making sure they realize, hey, this is actually kind of cool what's going on in here. You just got to be here to see it.
Whatever it is. And then I think the other piece is, I know we keep good data now where students and so we can monitor them daily. So it's no longer good enough to have that discussion about careers at the high school level. Really, it's not a lot soon. So if I was to go to some daughter, child data and look at it, and that student, that child said, I really have this passion for pets. I know I'm going to work in that industry. I'm either going to be a veterinarian, an assistant, I'm going to work, but somewhere along the line, that's why I can feel it. Is that a note somewhere so that they can, so in other words, they, everybody kind of builds the curriculum around what that student's career path is?
Yep, I think that's a great point. I think that's something, like I said, our student support group, our guidance counselors especially, they have these discussions with these kids. These are the kids that they're working with and finding out what makes these kids tick. And truthfully, they go out of their way to find ways to, okay, all right, for example, we have the therapy dog folks coming in and starting to make some visits to the buildings. Like our guidance counselors know, oh my gosh, I got 3 kids that are nuts for pets, nuts for animals. I have to make sure they come and see the dogs when they come. And that might not be, you're not visiting that classroom today. Well, you know what? We're going to bring this kiddo over and visit that classroom with the dog, because this is going to be important for that kiddo.
But with the curriculum, would they begin to design the curriculum, the options of courses around that career path?
I certainly see that as a future option going forward. I think what happens is, for example, our Open Sci-Ed curriculum, I think it's giving kids the chance to experience a lot of more hands-on things that they might not have just either been able to experience or just had to read about or watch a video on. When they start experiencing these things, they start understanding what their likes and what their passions might be. That's just science, but we look for those opportunities in all the curriculum fields and all the course subjects. And of course, our specialist teachers do that every day. The art teacher's amazing here, Candace Churchill. She puts kids and gives kids experiences in all levels of art. No matter what skill level you're at, you can find something worthwhile to do in her class and valuable, and she praises you for it. Our physical education teachers, like I said, our health teacher, our media teachers, they're always looking for ways to get kids. And again, we call it in the parlance, the hook. How am I going to hook that kid in? I got to find something that's going to hook that kid in. We always say the hook. But really what we're looking for is exactly right. What is this kid passionate about? And what can I do to add that to my curriculum? So while it's not on a global scale yet, Dean, it definitely happens on a daily piece with every teacher and every kiddo.
I mean, some students at 8th grade already know that. They want to be a teacher, and they already know. I'm amazed at how focused those students are. And I just want to make sure, and this is as local as we can get at the school level, the principal, is that we're giving them every opportunity and every option we can to provide them with that career.
Yep.
Early on, as early as possible, in the 6th grade, we decide. I know exactly what we want.
Oh, I got some kids right now. They'll tell you exactly what's going to happen.
We all know people like that, but a lot of people.
By the way, Johnny Compress is going for president in 2034, I think. I don't think we have any of his teachers here. I don't know if he's going mayor first, but he's coming. So I don't know how much longer you want to go.
But it's important that we build that for them, so we keep their interest and we do everything we can. They'll let their career path can be changed along the way.
Absolutely.
People are just driven. I just want to make sure that we all feel comfortable that, in the data, in their records, I'm a parent, I pull it up and it says, John maybe didn't have that discussion with you, but man, you should see him in school. What a nice.
Yeah.
Here she is. And here's what we're doing. Here are the notes. Okay, questions? Go ahead.
Over the last few years, Skyview has really been impacted in arts and music and band programs with constantly staffing. Where are we at in terms of staffing and programming for band and chorus?
Band and chorus are thriving again. It's fantastic to see. Xavier Cosme with her band came on board with us last year, probably had 10 people in the band. He's got standing room only in there now. He's got 35 people on band. We got a new kiddo who came in yesterday, said 2 days ago, said I played tenor sax. Where do I find the band teacher? Right in Xavier. Chorus, same type of thing. Kelsey Olden started with us last year. Maybe got 5 or 6 kids to get in there regularly to chorus. She's got a group now of about 25 kids that are regular attendees. She's got the select chorus going with this more specific group. They sung down at the Providence Bruins last month. Pledge of Allegiance did a good, not Pledge of Allegiance, Star Spangled Banner did a fantastic job with that. So it really is, it's an unbelievable, really in ways, rebound. Because literally it went from last year looking pretty dismal to just holy cow, all of a sudden the band room is loud. The music room's loud, kids are everywhere. Oh, God, absolutely.
You saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, and Arthur Pierce, Bobby Bergeron, Bobby started here at Skyview. I think we're the ones who really inspired him to get up there and take on the band up at the high school. So we still sink our teeth into him when we want to brag a little bit, but he knows all about what it is at the middle school and what it is to grow the program down here. Arthur's hugely supportive of both our music teachers down here. So yeah, I agree. I think the fine arts department as a whole, high school, middle schools, I think this year especially, we've really seen them all getting together and really working more than they ever have collaboratively. So it's really great to see.
Other questions?
So one thing I noticed on the DESI website was your African American students are doing extraordinarily well. at a rate much higher than other schools. But what do you attribute that to?
I attribute, you know what, Greg, that's something I'm still trying to quantify, because it is. I've noticed, I've been proud of it. It's fantastic. I like to think it's all about the overall culture of the school, which, as I've mentioned a couple times already, is all about making those connections with kids, and making sure that we are recognizing every kid's passion and trying to develop that and trying to hook them in to the learning. I've noticed that too. It's a fantastic number. I'd love to say I know exactly what's doing it, but I think it's kind of our overall approach to it. Again, continuing with high quality instruction materials, to continue with those high expectations. Doesn't matter what subgroup or what you look like. We know you can succeed at this level. We know you can achieve at this level. That's the stuff that we'd love to see our special education and our English learner numbers jump up to. We'd love to have them matching the African-American subgroup. It's something we're striving to get there. And again, I think it's the focal point of all the curriculum to no longer look at, I need to remediate with this kiddo because he comes from a country and wasn't in school for 2 years at all, not to mention a COVID pandemic. But we've got those students in our English learner population across the board. Some of the stories are heartbreaking. They haven't been in a regular school system in years. And they come here and they need to figure out how to get along, not just with learning, but just, what do you mean I have to change rooms to go to a different class? What do you mean I have 5 different teachers I have to listen to? So I think there's a lot that we can learn from every group of students that we teach. But I think the overall goal is pushing through on those high expectations and that high quality instruction materials, and really keeping those connections alive with the kids. Like I said, I keep trying to quantify it and find the little magic button that, what did we do with this group? But I think it's what we're doing with everybody. We're just still looking for those hooks for a couple of the other subgroups to get them up to par.
I think we can find this, they take education really serious, especially.
And it's year over year. You can see it too. Like they perform at a very high level. Even the absentee rate is much lower than other subgroups. So
Absolutely.
thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you for pointing it out.
And then I thank you for having very aggressive academic goals for this year. Can you speak to maybe 1 or 2 things that you guys are doing because I think they're pretty, high up there.
They're absolutely aggressive, Greg.
I appreciate that.
They're absolutely aggressive. And I know we can achieve at those levels. We've done it before. Like I said, the goals that I put out there basically match. They're probably percentage points, a decimal point higher, here and there, 1 point higher than our 2019 levels. And I've been here for 10 years. It's my 4th year as principal. I was assistant principal for the 6 years before that. So I know what we've been doing. I know what this school is capable of. I know what our students are capable of. We've got a solid group of teachers. We got a solid group of support staff. Besides COVID, I don't see any other reason why we wouldn't have had those numbers continually and not growing. So my look is, yeah, it's aggressive. If I don't hit them, that's on me, but I know we're going to be close because I can feel it every day in the classroom and I can see it happening each time I visit one. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you all again very much. I appreciate the time.
Okay, now to Pillatron.
Dr. Hunter.
So actually, before I talk about filling a cruiser, I did neglect to give Matt one piece of information for his report. Every year, if I may, just this kind of quick announcement. Every year, Massachusetts schools get to nominate 2 students for the Presidential Scholar Program. And from there, the commissioner selects 20 students to represent Massachusetts at the national level, along with 40 students selected by the Department of Ed for their SAT and ACT scores, and 40 students were chosen by organizations that work in conjunction with the DESE. I nominated Lillian Wyckoff and Min Boo for the program, and Min was selected by the commissioner as one of his 20 choices to represent Massachusetts. So he'll join the other 99 candidates to compete at the national level for the President's Scholar Program, which from there, like it's huge to get nominated for that. I've had 3 students in the last, I'm actually 3 for 3 in the last 3 years getting a student into that program. Of those other two students, one saw this daunting packet for the national program and said, I'm all set. And the other one entered the competition, didn't make that next round, which around April, they choose 500 finalists out of about, it's probably about 5,200 total students who were selected across the country. And she didn't make that cut. And then in the end, 161 students are declared presidential scholars. So Min will get the packet to apply in January, and we'll see. Hoping I can motivate him to do it because it's a pretty cool opportunity. So it really is a daunting packet. I understood why the student who didn't do it a couple years ago didn't. But so about 6 weeks ago, I attended my first youth council meeting. And during that, we were talking about ways that we could get LHS students to play more of a role in the community and various things that are going on in the community. One of the programs that was thrown out is the Fill the Cruiser program that the Leominster Police Department does. And we thought we could find a way to get the 1,800 or so students at Leominster High School as part of the force supporting that. So if you're not familiar with the Fill the Cruiser program, which I keep calling Cram the Cruiser, I think they really missed an opportunity for some really good alliteration. If you're not familiar with this program, it's kind of similar to Tours for Tots that the Marine Corps Reserve run. And that's a phenomenal program too. You know, basically you go out, you buy a toy, and they have a big box at Walmart or Target or whatever, and you throw that toy in the box, and that's great. But those toys get collected and they get brought to some central location somewhere, and then they're shipped out. And if you put a toy in the Toy for Tot box, that's awesome because somewhere a child gets a toy that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. But the value of the Fill the Cruiser program, the Cram the Cruiser, is that those toys stay in the community. And so it's great to help people. It's even just a little bit better to help people in your own community. And to kind of add some incentive to it, we also decided to make it competitive among the classes because nothing fuels charity like the ability to squash your enemies. And so we are going to award points towards Winter Carnival for whichever class brings in the most unwrapped toys for new unwrapped toys for the Fill the Cruiser program. So we have bins that are in the front office where if a parent were to bring in a toy, just say what grade your child's in and we'll make sure that it gets matched up and that class gets the right points. I know Mr. Robichaud is also very competitive, and so he is doing a fundraiser that they're going to use to buy some toys towards that. And the idea is that they literally want to fill one of the LPD cruisers with toys. And so it's an awesome program. And again, it benefits people right here in the community. So it's kind of a win-win. And then whichever class, maybe the freshmen will enter Winter Carnival with a little bit of an advantage.
Well, I heard the same thing, but freshmen and sophomores said that it's almost like a courtesy to allow the seniors to win it.
So that,
So now, yes, and so now they're taking it very serious. So I would suggest to the senior that we be on guard, that the sophomores and the freshmen, men and women, are really taking this serious.
so, you know, as Matt mentioned, I did meet with the classes last week, and this was one of the things that I brought up. And I did point out, you know, that too often seniors feel that Winter Carnival titles should just be handed to them.
Right.
And I am a firm believer that that is not the case, that they need to earn it. And so I encourage the seniors to rally and get ahead.
Too early to see your rights.
So
Class advisors have already all started.
Mhm.
They've got creative this year, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
that's it.
And it's something nice to reference.
So it's the-
Really nice to see what about.
It's this weekend at Target and then the following weekend at Walmart. But it's easy to find out. And so you actually put trailers, not just a cruise, perhaps the big trailers, there's so many people.
Yeah, it's a great program.
It's really good. And, you know, number of times, you know, you see, it's outrageous. We have to go to home and so it's a pleasant situation, but we bring the toys and it all. So it's a wonderful thing. And there's no confuse, no, to any other city or town, if they call us, we've been right there. So
Yep. We lost to Fitchburg High School in the can drive. So
we did.
we did. We won the football game. So, I mean, I guess if I had to choose one or the other, I guess I'll take that split, I guess, but this one, I think we're aiming to really win big on this one. So again, if parents have an unwrapped toy they want to bring on behalf of their student, just bring it down to the office. Jane doesn't mind having her office stuffed with toys, so works out great. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
A couple of weeks ago, I asked for an update on the air quality here, as we get into the flu season, so it's still around. It's like on by now, it's not. And anyway, we have a report tonight. So everyone would understand the upgrades of the maintenance.
Butch, grab a chair.
School season, and school departments have a good job with this, but I think we need to communicate that to the public.
Absolutely. Do you want to play with the toy?
Employee experience.
Yes.
He's not just one of the students.
No, he is our amazing facilities director, and
Well, thank you.
he works long hours and weekends. And yes, that's right. So Bill Sullivan, who we all know as a senior custodian for many, many years, how many years now? 14 years, has taken on a new role. And so his official title, assistant facilities director. So a little bit, but they're both working very hard to bring these schools up to snuff and make sure they're where they should be. So we'll give them kudos. Thank you. You're very welcome. You deserve it. So this was, the committee had requested that we give a quick update. I'll keep it brief because I don't know anything about boilers and I don't know anything about pneumatic air quality, but I can tell you that we've done it and it makes a difference in the schools and I know how much it costs. So, and Butch is here to assist me if you have questions beyond my financial capabilities. We're going to stick to the surface because we don't want to get him going on boilers either. So per the request, we have put together a very short and brief presentation with a list of projects that have been done in the last few years. We haven't gone just past, this year we've gone back a couple of years because there's been some fairly sizable projects that have been done and we want to make sure that we give those to you in the list. But we've been fortunate enough to have received additional funding, not just from our Chapter 70 and grants, but also from the City Cares to assist in addressing many of these projects. So we want to thank you, Dean, for that also. There we go. So the high school went through a full testing and balancing of their HVAC system, which identified many issues that we addressed one by one until all of the issues were resolved. Bad motors, belts, things like that, those things I can see in the invoices that I know what they are. But at both the high school and Skyview, there were multiple boiler repairs, rooftop repairs that were all addressed. And what that does for these schools is it puts these schools in a position where they're not, we're not spending $30,000 on a project to put a Band-Aid on something. We've addressed the issues and now we're in a position where we are maintaining and addressing problems as they come up one by one. So it's all great. And you can certainly ask questions of specific things. Like I said, I'm not going to know about your return pumps, but I can give you the costs. Samoset Middle School, fairly sizable project here. We remove and install the new efficient boilers and expansion tanks. It's definitely, Dean, there's one in front of you there. You can see the packet there if you can't see the screen. But so they went and they had put in the new efficient boilers and expansion tanks. And the boilers previously were in constant need of costly repairs. So this again addresses a very larger costly project, and now we are in a maintenance stage with it. It's the only time I get to see pictures, Greg. So to continue with Samoset, they installed other projects like backflows and univent repairs, new water pumps, efficient hot water tanks. All of these things put Samoset in a great position where they are now, anything to do with HVAC is now in maintenance. Nothing major, no Band-Aids. We're in a good position with them. And these all things look really pretty and clean.
It does.
Moving on, some of the schools don't necessarily have a lot of HVAC or air quality issues. So they have smaller projects, but again, all of these small projects add to the efficiency of the school as a whole. So after some smaller projects at Francis Drake and JA, they are both now too in the maintenance stage when it comes to the HVAC systems. Northwest, that one, as you can see, we put a before and after up there. So that was a boiler that we had just been continually putting Band-Aids on. You know, and you can see just in July, we spent $30,000, you know, repairing a crack in the boiler that we just had to do. And we didn't, there was no time to say we can't do it. We've got to wait for the new boilers. We've just got to get it done. So by October, our amazing vendor, Boston Mechanical, came in. They removed the old, installed the new efficient boilers, and they did it in 6 days?
Yep.
6 days. So we have some amazing vendors that we work with, and they're very good to the schools. So Northwest got some much upgraded efficient boilers that were necessary. And now everybody complains it's too hot in there. And Bennett, they went ahead and rebuilt the steam boilers and the hot water tanks. And so again, it's all about efficiency in the schools now and getting them, bless you, to a point where, you know, we're not spending 10,000 or 5,000 or, you know, every time something's necessary. Now we're in maintenance mode. And we've got some great contracts with vendors that come in, whether it's semi-annually or annually. And they're coming in and they're maintaining this brand new equipment. And it's really making a big difference. So district-wide, some of the money that we've had over the years has also been beneficial in securing the many air filters that these schools need for good air quality. So some of these schools actually require over 200 filters just in one. If you're replacing it, it's 200 air filters in one shot. And so it gets pricey. You know, you can see those HEPA air filters certainly get a bit costly. So these are things that were also done on a district-wide level, installing emergency remote shutdown switches in the boilers. Safety obviously comes first. And then we've purchased for our staff, custodial staff, and for Butch himself, an air quality surveying kit tool so that he can go to any classroom or any room in the building and test the air quality in the classroom and make sure that it's safe for everybody. So we also have some larger up and coming projects that are not yet done, but we are estimating the cost, and those ones are in the works. So we've got Skyview, their rooftop units are all going to get rebuilt and updated. Johnny Appleseed, they're going to do exactly the same thing that they had done over at Northwest, which you saw the photos. They're going to take those boilers out and give us some new efficiency boilers. And Northwest has obviously done their boilers, but they still need to do the boiler pumps and the piping that's above the boilers. So that's the second part of that project. And all three of those are in the works, up and coming. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
And especially today, with the cost of everything.
Yep.
Talking to principals on the rate. And Somerset cost us, I think, around 14 million to build a school.
Wow.
In comparison, Gardner's new K through 4, it cost 90.
Wow.
And that's one of the less expensive schools. So thank you, fortunately, the superintendent staff, because it's far, we always say it's far less costly to keep things maintained. Really today, it's paramount. It's 20 years old and in good shape.
Yep.
And same thing, same said about the building. And cost of a new building today is, I remember people complaining when we did the Newton school. Remember they built the high school in Newton? That's nothing. You see new high school today? That's
crazy.
Like a deal.
Yeah.
Today, in comparison.
Yeah, these things are important.
10 times, so.
Yep.
So important. So thank you to everybody involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Any questions?
It is. Yeah.
But again, we're having to still get COVID.
Mhm.
There's all this stuff wrong, people have to understand that we're being as aggressive as possible. I mean, those filters are important.
Yeah.
You see what they look like when you take them, change it.
Yeah, I don't, he does, I don't.
Yeah. Well, so here, they look like now, it's ready to make it, we'll be changing them.
Yep.
So good, I mean, that's good.
Yeah. No, you pay for it in the end. So, no, very important. Butch has done a great job of securing those maintenance contracts that we may have never had in the past. That although they sound like you're spending money for nothing, you're not, you know,
Just like. Yeah, you don't do it.
that's it.
You know,
Exactly.
If I can add to, I mean, it's really been a team effort, you know, I just happen to be a conductor of a good orchestra. I mean, between the city personnel and,
Yeah.
you know, the business office and, my staff and our contractors, you know, it's actually been a long experience, but a wonderful one. So, you know, I'd be remiss if I did not mention all those people.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Stadium.
Enjoy yourself.
The other thing I want to say is that was a good presentation on the school security. Yes. And I know we've had some of the students in the past, you know, we wanted to put in-depth look at school security. And I think it's best to leave it, I think that's elevation that we saw tonight. But let me just say, the police department, our fire department, emergency management, and it is state of the art in terms of school security. Superintendent, take this very seriously. I don't want to go on into details of what is in our students. And so, I mean, if anybody wanted to, so the seconds, look at them, fine. But I didn't want to drill too much down into it, but I think that was a good way of explaining today that not only Somerset, but all schools take safety. And it's not just emotional reaction to any one particular incident. It's we realize this has to be, it's just part of life, unfortunately. And so you can't just do it because there's an incident in one state or another city. It's got to be, it's just a way of life. So we do take it serious. I can't and won't get into the details of some of the things that we can do. We'll just leave it at that. Right now, we can skip down, so I do get home. And,
Sounds amazing.
Finance updates, and then a finance update from the finance subcommittee.
From
Review.
We'll just turn right over here.
That's great. No, I just gave you an update on where we're at. Obviously, you can see money is starting to come down to that 1.4 million in salaries, which is reasonable for this time of year. We still have positions open. They're still posted. There are some positions that we haven't been able to hire, so there's some money still sitting out there. We're still bargaining with unions. So some of that money is in here, but you never know what can happen. So it's a good place to be sitting with that. I'm comfortable with that. Our expenses, you know, we've been lucky enough to get that bump in our chapter 70, and it's allowed us to address, you know, some of these capital projects that we just don't have time to waste. You know, the Northwest project came out of our general fund, and as you can see, we're still sitting with a healthy balance of 4.3 million. So we're taking care of business, and it's still looking good. But I think we're going to start seeing at this point in time, I may do some transfer requests coming up in the next couple of meetings. And that's just really to put money where it needs to be, right? We thought we were going to do one thing, but instead we did another, and I just need to put the money there to cover it.
And we put the budget together in April.
Yeah.
Or starting even sooner.
Yeah.
Not in the six.
Things change. Yep. So
It's like.
it is true, yes. So if you guys have any questions, really, that's where I'm at.
Any warrants at all?
No, not this time. I kept them for next time.
And while we're here, we have, items to replace the surplus.
Yes.
Alright. Thank you, everybody. Any questions or comments? If not, signify the usual manner.
Correct.
Greg, you did it. Great stuff. Unmute. Yes, hi, Greg. Thank you. You ready to post us? Oh,
Just need to put your behind us, we can't see you, so.
it doesn't mean we don't know this. One other thing, can we get them name tag? So there must be somebody that can We just heard about all that machinery and 3D printers and CNC machines. Let's get a block of steel and the CNC machine will cut your name off. What's that? Bill Rights. No, people that were watching, I see them like, well, who are they? So we want.
So just under subcommittee,
Yes.
subcommittee, that's
Yes.
not there.
And, okay, we're going to, quickly, we did no business. We never did, we set the goals for the superintendent. And I talked about the last time, we just got busy and, but I would like to turn the year into putting some goals together. Even if it's 3 basic goals, I think we're pretty much in sync with the superintendents, but we should have a quick exercise at some point, one of the first meetings of the year. And good chance for everybody to kind of throw out your personal issues and see if we can melt them down and put it all together and end up with 3 or 4, maybe 5 goals. That way we're in sync, you know, the superintendent. And so we can do that later. Yes, yes.
Somebody reached out to me for what we're running for, giving some money towards the high school project. And it was some brown tape. Stars, it's where the money can be applied to, where the project on the school.
So what we've basically done is carry back to the original project. And we'll work on some details and put it, see where we end up. You know, we could end up in a cycle where there's just a lot of projects finishing up, which there seems to be. And maybe we put out the bids, maybe the prices will up over. And we know a few options to pull out of the net that we have for. So that's what we're. So we started a project this big, and it kind of grew. And I'm like, I had okay. I mean, it started with the track because the track, it just was in a bad spot. I thought it was dangerous. You had walkers, you know, people out on the outskirts. Yeah, so there was no other place to put it, so we put it in high school, and we realized we need practice field, and then it turned into, and then price has gone up, so we're back to the original. So sometime this week, Anthony Cleves from Quick Innovation said, just, great job, and we said, we're just getting over there.
I just want to thank the Northwest PTO and the teachers and parents for the great process of it. Amazing job. It was a very, very good job. PTO, everybody did great.
A little competition because the same night was the international night. See a little competition.
Sure, they're big.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good time. Well, they did amazing too.
And you can see the excitement behind parents and students. And you're talking about social emotional part. What did this effect did this have on students and parents and families, teachers and staff in the community? Any event we have is twice. No matter if it's a school event, like what we have, it's twice the amount of people we have. So there's the effect that it happened right there. We're here today. Much of it wants to talk about COVID, I just want to forget about it. And I just, some of them, like if I saw myself in 10 years, said, hey, we all have walk around masks, we can all wear half the amount of people in the buildings, and we have total buildings in schools and business. I wouldn't believe it. So I just choose to take it on each day, right? That's big. All right, anything else? All right.
They're not, they'll be submitted at the next meeting.
That's fine.
Having this, not even this.
No problem. Anything else? Old business? New, old business. New business. All right, so we don't have a second meeting. So.
I thought we did. We do have all of this together. We do.
Do we have to put on the agenda? I mean, I don't have a meeting. It's just that meeting.
We can talk about the.
So we'll keep it. If there are items that we need to have on the agenda, fine. Then we won't.
We want to know.
And the other thing is, thank you to everyone who's been pushing those events all of us. That's really been helpful. I can say a number of members that I've seen in events.
Nice. Thanks.
We want to go, we just don't know what they are. Sometimes you can't go, but thank you for pushing them on to us because it's really helpful for us. All right. That's it. Anything else?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor? Okay.
Yes.
He's like, enough. Thank you, everybody. Congratulations. Thank you to Skyview for one.